We will discuss about the very good concept property in C sharp. Okay, we will discuss regarding property in C sharp. What is property? Property is a member of class using which we can expose associated associated values of the class. Property is a member of class using which we can expose associated value of the class. Suppose we have a class public class circle, and we have declared a attribute radius double double radius like this, and we have another class public class test circle circle static void main. We have a main method. Suppose I want to access the radius in another class circle C equal to new circle, and want to access radius C dot radius. Wrong. We can't access the radius here because by default each and every member of a class are private. So the radius is a member of the class circle, and by default, because we didn't use any modifier here, so by default modifier will be private. Each and every member of a class by default private. So private member of a class we cannot access outside of that class. So here using instance of circle class, I have created the instance of circle class, and using instance variable we can't access the radius field of the circle class because this radius is by default private. Okay, when we create the instance of circle class, the memory allocation for this radius is done, but we can't access because that is private. Like suppose I have created the instance of class circle. The instance is created, and the variable for the radius memory is also allocated. Memory is also allocated for the radius. This is the radius, and this is the instance of the C. This is the instance of C. This is the not instance of the. This is the I mean this is the instance of circle class. This is the instance of the circle class represented by C, and under this we have uh, a radius, and the memory for the radius is allocated. Suppose I have passed here 12.44, then the memory for the radius is allocated when we creating the instance of circle class, and value is stored 12.44, but we can't access outside the circle class. Here it's wrong, we can't access. Okay, if I will go to the property, what is property, but first we will discuss basic concept. Suppose I have declared as public, then what happen? We can access whatever the value under the radius, we can access within the class, outside the class, because this is the public. This is declared as public, so we can access the value outside the class and within the class. And here circle class is public, so this circle class can be accessed within the project, outside the project, anywhere we can access this circle class. And under this under this we have a field, we have attribute. uh, Circle is just like an entity, and under this we have attribute just called as field. Okay, then we can access the radius outside the class, and this circle class we can access outside the class. We can access this circle class out within the project, outside the project. Okay, and this radius we can access within the project, outside the project, because this radius is come under the circle class. That's why we can access anywhere. Okay, now we can access radius. We can here access the radius, we can read the radius, we can modify the radius. C dot radius equal to, suppose we have 12.44 dot 655, we can assign here. Here we can read the radius and write the radius. Okay, when I declared radius as public, then there is no control on the radius. Why there is no control? Because anyone can create this is the public class. Anywhere we can create the instance of this class, and this is the public field. That's why we can set the value. Anyone can create the instance of the circle class. Anyone can set the value. Anyone can get the value. There is no control of radius value. We have no control. We have no control on radius value. Then how to control an assignment of the radius? How to restrict the value of the radius, that anyone cannot assign that value, anyone cannot get the value? Then the first way is, first of all, we need to declare this method as private. If we don't use any modifier, then by default is private. We can explicitly use private, no problem, but by default the private modifier. All members of this class is by default treated as private. So if we don't use any access modifier, then that is by default private. Okay, then for every class it is good practice to declare as private. Okay, to access when we declare this is private, then we can't access outside the class. Then what to do to get access outside the class? First way is using method. We define a method public double get radius return radius. Return radius. Using this method, we can get the value of the radius. To get the value of radius, here we will use like double r equal to c dot get radius. Using the instance of circle class, we can access the public method of this one. Using c dot get radius, we can access like this, and when we access this method, then we'll return the radius. This is the radius. We'll return and store in the variable r. Okay, and suppose I want to get the value, then we again declare a method like this: public void set radius. Set radius, here we will set radius, and here we use radius equal to value. Using this method, c dot, this is the public method, that's why we can access using the instance of circle class. Using c dot get set radius, we can set the radius, and by passing explicitly something I want to do, then we can set the radius of the circle class. Now what happened? Using this public method get radius and set radius, we can get the radius of the circle class, and using this set radius we can set the radius of the circle class. Okay, but someone say that using this public using this radius as public, we can achieve same thing. We can achieve same, we don't need to define this method using public. Suppose here the field is declared as public, then we can get the radius just like c dot radius and set the radius like this. Using, suppose I have declared is public. Okay, I have the radius declared as public. Then using instance of circle class c dot radius, we can access the radius. And suppose we want to assign the radius, then in this case c dot radius equal to something I want to assign dot. Then we can get the radius and set the radius using if we use public modifier and radius. If declared as public modifier, then we can get and set. Then why we need to declare this get method and set method for this radius variable to get and set? Very good question. And what is the difference between this? If you don't apply this public modifier on the radius, then we can't access like this. No one can read and no one can write the radius. Okay, using this public method we can get the variable and set the variable, but the in this using this suppose I want to only give the permission someone to get the radius value, then only we need to define this method only get the radius, then no one can set the radius value. We can't set this one. Suppose we don't have this method, then we can't assign the radius value. Only we can get the radius value. If want to if we want to give the permission to only set the variable, not get the variable, then only we need to define this set radius, and we will use this set radius method to set the radius. Okay, means if we use method public method, then we can give the permission like to get the radius using get radius method, and if we define a method set radius, then we can set the radius. Only give one if you want to give only set permission, then only we need to define set radius. If want to give get radius, then we need to define get radius method. If you want to give both permission, means read and write, means get and set, then we declare both, then we need to define both method get radius and set radius, and using this we can set and get. Means we have the flexibility using this method get radius and set radius. We can assign, we can get the radius and we can set the radius. But if we don't want to give the permission of set radius, then we don't define this method, just define only get radius, then we can only get the radius value, but we can't set the radius value. Okay, in this case suppose we have only defined get radius method, then we can get the radius value, but here in this case we can't set the radius value. If we declare this field, this attribute radius attribute as public, then we can get and set where there is no restriction. There is no restriction on this variable radius. If we declare this field as public, then we can get and set. There is no restriction. But using this using method get and set radius, we have restriction. If we want to give the permission to get radius, then only this method need to be defined, and if you want to give the permission to set radius, then set radius method need to be defined. Okay, this is the difference. Okay, we are talking about the properties. Property is a member of class using which we can expose associated value of a class. Okay, property is nothing, property is also a member of the class. How to declare property? Syntax is modifier modifier type name get statements and set statements. Set statements. Using property, using property, we can modify. We can achieve the both the method. What we are doing using the get radius and using the property, what we are achieving? We are achieving using this get radius method to get the radius value, using set radius method to setting the radius value. So using modifier, we can achieve this this get radius and set radius, both the things in a single property. And we don't define two methods with a two name. Only one property can declare and achieve both the method methods work. Okay, we can combine both method work in a single property. Okay, like how we have declared a property like this: public type double, name is radius, using get, just we use this one. Using set, just use this one. Now we have combined the two method works, means get radius work and set radius work in a single property with a single name. Okay, the name is a radius, but here two name: get radius and set radius. Here for we using set radius, we are just declaring variable and assigning this value to this. But here we don't declare any variable. Whatever the value is coming, that value is come here in the value and just assign in the radius. Okay, programmatically we will see how to do. So here I have created a project like property demo. In this we will see how to do this. Suppose we have a class, public class circle, and we have variable double, we have a field double underscore radius. Assign the value 1, 2, and 3, 4. And we have a main method. We have created the instance of circle class and using instance of circle class C, we can't access radius underscore radius we can't access because by default each and every member of a class that by default private. Okay, suppose if we declare this method as public, then this radius can be accessed by the instance of the circle class. We can access underscore radius. But here the problem is anyone can create the circle class instance and assign the value whatever he want that can do. Anyone can assign any value and that value is overwritten and anyone can access the latest value. Now the value of the circle radius is changed from 12.34 to 34.4. Okay, when we access then we get 34.4. Then if we declare a radius as public, then anyone can access and anyone can set the value, means anyone can modify the value. Okay, this is the problem with the public members. And suppose I have removed this public modifier, then here what is the problem? We can't access the private member of the class. Then what is the method to access the radius and outside the class? The first method is using using function or method. We can expose the property of we can expose the radius value to the outside environment, means outside we can access the radius using method. Okay, we're declaring method, we can access the private member of a class to the outside environment. How? Declare public double get radius is the method, and using this method we can get the radius to the outside environment using this public void set radius double value, anything we can use double, suppose r I have used, the variable r is used, then radius equal to r. Using this public method get radius and set radius, we can suppose we have setting set radius is like 34.4. Using the public method set radius, using the instance of circle class c dot set radius, we can modify the value of radius 34.4 and we can access using get radius. We can get the value, same thing we can achieve. Okay, but if we use the public modifier here, the same get and set both are achieved, then why we need to define this method? Then why we need to define this both method if the if we when if we declare this this field as public, then same thing can be achieved. Anyone can, but anyone can set and get the value of the radius. The good things in this using declare method, suppose if you want to give anyone to only get to only get the radius, then we just comment this set radius method. Then another person can create the instance of the circle class and get only get the radius, not set the radius. Here set the radius will not work. Okay, here set the radius will not work. Only outside person only can get the radius. Okay, the flexibility in the method is that we can only get the variable, get the radius. Okay, we can get the radius using get radius method. Okay, suppose we want to only provide the third person, we are providing the third person, then can third person can set the radius, not get the radius. Then this method commented out and uncomment this set radius method. Then third person can set the radius. Then third person can set the radius, but third person cannot get the radius. Okay, the flexibility in method, if we want our control to the radius, we can give the permission to third person, that third person can only read or third person can only write. Okay, if we want to give the permission to both read and write, then we uncomment the both method. Okay, but in case of using using modifier public on the radius field, then we don't have any control. Third person can get and set both. Okay, but using this method we can control, we can only give the set radius method. We can if we put only set radius here, then third person can create the instance of the circle class, and only using set radius method only can set the only can modify the radius. Okay, if we want third person to only give the permission of getting the radius, not setting, then then comment this method. Then only define this get radius method, and third person can only read the radius method, not modify the radius method. Okay, this is the flexibility in this method. Okay, and what is the property, what can achieve in the property? In property, both method are combined in a single name. Suppose we have get radius method, and set radius method. We have two method. Then this both method in combined in single name. Suppose we have create a property, then modify in the syntax of the property modifier, and the type is double, and property name is radius. Okay, here is two block get and set. Get is called as read only property, and set is called write only property, and we have two block get and set. Suppose in get block we are giving this one get radius, we are just using this one. Okay, in set block we will use just this one. But here predefined variable is value. Whatever the value come from the user, that is by default declared as value. Internal variable, built-in variable. No need to declare. Here we need to declare the explicitly. We need to declare the variable in set case. But here by default built-in the variable name is value. We can't change this one. Whatever the value coming from the user, that value come, and we are setting the value using this value in the radius. Okay, this is the set. This is the set means write only property. Whatever this method is doing, this set block is doing this one. Whatever this method is doing, this get block is doing same things. Okay, returning radius and setting the radius. Then no need of this both method. We have to achieve, we needed two methods, but here only single name radius we can achieve both things, get and set, using get and set block. Okay, this is the property. Then how to use this one? This is the radius and this is the by default private. Using property, we can expose. Property is a member of class. Property radius is a member of class, and using property we are exposing this private member data to outside the environment. Means in another class we are exposing this private variable, private field, to another environment using this radius property. Okay, then what, how can access? Then using instance of C, just set C dot radius, just calling radius and passing the radius 10 point something. C dot radius, using instance of the circle class, we just getting the property. Okay, just getting the property name, and when we are assigning this value 10.33, this value we are just here setting the value. That's why this block will be called. Okay, this block will be called. Okay, and this value is coming here in the value, and this value is assigned to the radius variable. Okay, then C dot radius means C dot radius, this property, calling this property and assigning this value the radius this. Now the current value of the radius is 10.33, and when we want to access, then using C dot radius, when we just using C dot radius, this is the property, not a method. That's why we are no need this parenthesis. Okay, this is the property. Like the field, how to access the field. Likewise, we can access the property. Okay, C dot radius. We are getting this radius. Okay, then we run. Then we get the latest value 10.33. Okay. What is the benefit using the radius? The benefit is using single name, we can set the value. In case of method, we need to define two methods, get radius and set radius with two names. But here we need only one names, and we can get the property and set the property. Okay. In the case of set, we just externally declare a parameterized method, but here we don't declare a parameterized, just we have built-in variable, built-in value, and that is assigned to the radius variable. Okay, radius field. Here, what will be the type of value? The type of value is built in the type of the radius. What will be the radius? What is the radius? What is the type of radius? That will be the type of value. Okay. And another benefit of this radius, like that, suppose we want to provide only get access, then we need to declare get accessor, this one get accessor, then we can uh, only read the radius using it. Okay, then we can read the variable C dot radius, we can read only property. just reading. Suppose if you want to give third person to set the variable radius, then we provide this set radius, and we call this one set radius, and we can't get the radius, we can't use this c dot radius. Okay, this is the only providing, we are just providing the right only right only property. This is the right only property. Means we are giving permission to third person only set the variable, means only modify the radius. Okay, then here we can able to modify the radius, but here we can't access the radius. Okay, both things we can achieve. Uh, we can give the restricted things to third person, means either get or set or get or set both. Okay, but when we declare this field as public, then third person can get and set. We don't have control on the radius variable. That's why property came. And what is another benefit of radius? We can give the condition. In the case of get and set, we can give the condition. This is the benefit of the property. Suppose in setting, suppose we are setting the variable, setting the radius, we just want to provide some condition on radius. Suppose we want to apply the condition, when the someone pass radius, then radius should be greater than the old value. Then we can apply here the condition radius, whatever the value is passing by the third person, the value is getting under this one. Okay, then we can apply the condition value whatever passing by the third person, but by the user, value is greater than underscore radius, then this block will be executed. When we assign the when we setting the radius, okay, then this set block will be called. Okay, then in set block, the condition checked whatever the value is assigned, that is greater than the current value, this one. If this is correct, then we can assign the value into the radius. If this condition is not satisfied, then we can't assign, we can't change this value. Okay, the old value exists if this condition is false. This is the another advantage of the property. Okay, but in the case of when we declare this field as public, then in this case anyone can pass the value, anyone can access the value, but we can't apply the condition like this. When we setting some when we passing some value to the radius, in the case of when we declare this field as public, then we can't apply this type of condition. This is another advantage of the property. Okay, so suppose we have 12.34. Okay, and we are setting the value 10.33. This is less than the current value is less than, but what is the condition? When we setting the value, whatever the value passing need to be greater than the current value, this one, then this value is less than, that's why we can't modify the current value, so we are getting the old value. Okay, 12.34. 12.34. Why 12.34 coming? Because we are assigning here 10.33. Where we are assigning 33 using the radius property, then we are setting the value. That's why set accessor is called, and set accessor is called, and the passing value is 10.33. Here is 10.33. 10.33 is greater than 12.34. No, that's why the value assignment is not done here. This line is not executed. That's why the old value is showing. Okay, got it? Is there any confusion? Then please comment in my video. This is not complete about the properties. In second video, I will complete the all the properties concept in second video. Uh, I need to stop here because I think video will be very long. That's why I stopped here. I will make a video of make a second video for the property to complete all the concept and the property. Okay, that's all. Thank you.